Well, welcome to Smarter Living, Providence Wave Journey. I'm Joseph Garcia, founder and CEO of Providence Wave Group.
I'm Jessica Payton. I am the COO and the co-founder.
And I'm Sandra Jacobs, product manager. This is the first episode of our podcast. This show is about designing smarter homes and stronger communities and new ways to care for aging adults and multi-generation families.
Right. So this episode is just us. There's no guest today. So we wanted to begin this journey, by letting you know who we really are, why we started Providence Wave Group and what we're working to build. Now, as a faith-based company, we do believe that true healing, whether physical, emotional, or generational, starts with compassion, empathy, and love. These values guide everything we do, and from the way we design technology to the way we serve our communities. We also believe being spiritual here, and that's also vital to us, and that's because how we approach the development of our product, right? It allows us to lead with empathy, create with compassion, and serve with love without prejudice or judgment. This foundation shapes how we listen, how we build, and how we strive to uplift those we serve.
And we'll also include you in what phase we're in,
Right.
and also just being able to have a connection with you and bring you a part in our journey to see where we're going to be moving forward. And when our first product launches, you'll be included in that.
So let's start at the top. Joseph, where did the vision for this begin?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a few things, really. Well, my sister and I started Medicare. We had quite a few conversations with our beneficiaries, a lot of stories that we absorbed, and we noticed there are quite a few challenges. Not to mention our mom, our other older relatives that are going through the same thing, and we've been noticing these challenges are, well, they're very similar. Everyone, it doesn't matter which class they're in, they're the same challenges. And that's something that we decided to do something about.
I think what drove me into being a co-founder into this company was the belief system of knowing that we could see the firsthand difficulties that families were facing, everyday families were facing, and how we could actually make an improvement into that. So I think for me, it was more the sense of how I can see the tech shortcomings that were happening and how we can move forward and progressing with that.
And as for me, as a product manager and as a designer, I saw the opportunity to build something inclusive and accessible to everyone, which is just something I'm very passionate about, you're passionate about, and we can bring compassion to it.
Right. Well, that brings us to the heart of the mission, really. I mean, at Providence Wave Group, we exist to create smart home solutions that promote dignity, safety, and wellness and independence.
And our vision to technology is the ability to see how, by people staying home, how they can be cared for and looked over and just given an opportunity to be feeling safe within their environment.
Not just through devices, but through apps, through social programs. We're designing to help families access tools regardless of their income.
Right. We're currently, developing our smart home hub, and that's our product, our flagship product, right? And also the ecosystem that supports it. So we're in the process of filing our patents, trademarks, and copyrights. So we can't really share a lot, but that's coming very, very soon.
But what we can say is the technology that we're looking forward to, leading out with is something that's going to be able amongst all communities for seniors, families, caregivers, and give an opportunity for a better life and a lifestyle for those individuals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We're also designing grant-backed and city-partnered social programs to help families afford the system and to support things like in-home safety, mental health, monitoring, and community resources.
Exactly. Like you're saying right now, as we're designing our product, as we are, building our product, we're also designing these social programs for different types of classes, right? So, and that's why we're reaching out to local to state governments and organizations, and that's why it's incredibly crucial for us to partner with all types of organizations, right? But it's all happening in phases. And so our first pilot, where we want our first pilot to be at, is in Detroit. It's where my sister and I, we grew up in Detroit. We grew up in Chatsey-Condon, Southwest Detroit. So, and it's very personal to us in so many ways. But we'll expand across several states after we launch our first pilot, and we're documenting every step of that journey on this podcast.
Yeah, so if you are someone who wants to help us refine the future of smart living, we love to hear from you. So if you want to take if you want to take time to fill out a survey that will give us more of a definite answer about how we can refine the future of smart living, that'll be really appreciated.
At Providence Wave Group, we're building something we hope will change lives. A smart home system that makes aging in place safer, more connected, and more dignified.
But to build the right product, one that actually works for multigenerational families, seniors, and caregivers, we need to hear directly from you.
That's why we created a short survey. It takes just a few minutes and asks the basic information like your name, email, and zip code. You can also choose whether or not you'd like to be contacted.
If you say yes, you might be invited to help us further, or even become a guest on this podcast to share your experience.
So whether you're a caregiver, a senior, or someone passionate about aging with dignity, your feedback helps us build something better.
The link is in the show's notes, or you can visit www.providencewavegroup.com.
Let's build smarter homes together. We are going to have a few guests coming in and be a part of our podcast here. And next week, or the next, I want to say next podcast, excuse me, it's going to be someone that's actually, it's an organization, Tech Town, right? But Diana is from Tech Town, and she kind of helped us with our footing, let's just say. And she's going to share how Detroit is supporting founders like us, grow the future of inclusive innovation. And it's actually pretty awesome where Tech Town is at. I just love the environment there. So live smarter, live stronger.
Smarter Living is produced and edited by Zachary Davis and Bill McAllister for Podcast Nation in Troy, Michigan.